What's going on, guys? It's Adam P, and welcome back to Newcastle United news. Plenty to get into today, but I wanted to start off with the obvious point. We as football fans, we all have emotions, we all have feelings, we all have opinions towards Newcastle United and towards our football teams. I want to make the obvious point clear. There are much bigger things in life than football. And if you guys have ever been to any Newcastle away game for that matter, or you have been someone who's been subscribed to my channel for a decent amount of time now, you'll probably recognise this lad at some point. His name's Kane, and he, of course, is a Newcastle fan who goes to every away match through thick and thin, by the way. On a personal level, I've known Kane for around 7 to 8 years. Back when I used to go in the coaches to Newcastle away games around 2016, 2017, I used to go on Fez's bus. This lad was always on Fez's bus, and he's someone that I personally known for quite a long period of time now. And unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago out in Ibiza, he actually fell from a third-story building. And because of that landing, he's been in an induced coma ever since. He hasn't woken up yet. And every day, of course, he is fighting for his life in hospital. And he's at that stage now where the support he needs, he can no longer get it out in Ibiza. So he has to physically be taken back to Newcastle in an air ambulance. And the family needed £30,000 to actually be able to afford to get him back in the air ambulance. Now, I would have came out in the video today saying that, you guys, please donate, please help this lad out. But it's already got £36,000. I don't even need to come out and say that. It's already got what the family needs to physically have the chance to save their son. And so he can come back home to Newcastle, and no matter what happens next, his family and friends are able to deal with it home. And I want to say, for you guys watching this video, fair play and fair bloody play as well to all the opposition fans out there. I actually read for the donations and the amount of Sunderland fans that are there, opposition fans that are there, and even Larry Nance Jr., who partially owns Leeds United. He actually got football owners and the football community getting together. And just a further update while I am recording this video, Jamie Rubin has now just put £500 down, so even Newcastle United's ownership has got together and made sure they can make a contribution towards Kane's family. And of course, £30,000 goes to the air ambulance, and all the money above that goes to Kane's family. And you have to look at an air point of view as well, because they would have spent a lot of money in hotels. You're talking planes, actually going over Ibiza for a couple of weeks just so they could be there with his son. That's going to cost a ridiculous amount of money as well. So all that money's went back to his family, and it gives him a fighting chance. I can't say in this video what will happen next, but we all know he has that chance. It's because of your generosity. It's because of all of you watching this video, where you've given a Newcastle fan who goes to every single match a chance to live. And it's a strong message and a reminder that football is good. Football helps bring people together. And football, although we all have our different shirts and we all support different football teams, everyone can get together when it means something, when we have to get together. And I have to say, a fair play to opposition fans. And I want to leave one final message before we get into our topics in this video, but just look after yourselves. I can't make it any clearer than that. You can't put a price on your health. Doesn't matter where you come from, how much money you have, and what background you have. You can't put any money on your health and happiness. And you want to make sure Kane, to his family and friends out there, I hope he has a fast and speedy recovery, but also a strong reminder to everyone watching this video, just make sure you look after yourselves and make sure you're in the right state of mind as well, because, of course, an accident like this, I don't know what happened, but of course, you want to make sure everyone watching this video, you don't get yourself in a situation like this, because it's horrific and it's truly horrible to see. So, hope everything goes well for Kane, but you guys have given him a chance. That's all you can do. You've given him a chance. Well done for your generosity, and hopefully Kane does wake up at some point when he gets back in Newcastle. Of course, the Great North Run is on Sunday, and it's now been announced that Jacob Murphy and Nick Pope will be the official starters this year. They're going to ring the bell. They're going to kickstart the race. And it's been described by the organisers that for the first time ever, a winning North East football team will have representatives there who will start the race. And I have to say, that hits me here. Looking forward to it. I can't wait. And as promised a few weeks ago, I am in the Great North Run this year. Second year in a row. I am running on behalf of the British Heart Foundation. And if you guys would like to make a donation to my personal fundraising page, it will be down in the pinned comment and description as well. Apologies if that sounds out of touch with what the start of the video was about, but again, I'm still running for a charity which of course helps out with cardiac arrests and people who unfortunately need life-saving equipment to help out with cardiac conditions and heart attacks. And video will be out on Sunday of the entire Newcastle United Great North Run experience, so make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button, join the 45% of you who are already subscribed watching this video, so you don't miss out on any news and you don't miss out on what is going to be an incredible day on Sunday. Starting the video off, we're going to mention Germany a few times because we'll start with Nick Wout, of course, our new striker, 6'6", got the opportunity of a lifetime starting up front for his national team senior level against Slovakia in a game where Germany shockingly lost 2-0. That's their first ever qualifying away loss in their history. So not exactly the opening start for Nick Wout, but to be honest, the entire team was rubbish. I have to say, especially when you talk about Liverpool, Wirtz was awful. I was surprised how bad Wirtz was yesterday, and I watched him, and it was a game where Germany were a mess at the back, and Nick Wout had little bright sparks in the game, but still a player who had immense levels of pressure on him, and just a player who needs that time to settle in. He didn't get that time to settle in, and it's a game where I feel like for Newcastle, you've got a real player there. I have to say, the positive yesterday watching him, he's almost like a 5'7" player, but he's not. He's 6'6". He plays like he's 5'7". That's the best way to describe him. He's technically unbelievable on the ball. I think especially when you look at any player who's 6'6", you'd expect them to be slow, clumsy, and just a bit all over the place. And Nick Wout is the complete opposite. He's actually fluid. He's quick on the ball. He's energetic and he's confident. He knows how to move the ball forward, and he's someone with real experience, and especially being developed by Eddie Howe and our coaching team. He's got real potential. I have to say he's got real potential, and I was impressed with bits of his player yesterday, and I can't wait to see what he can do for Newcastle United. But for any negativity out there, the lad's young. The entire German team was crap, to be honest, yesterday. So I think if you've got any negativity towards him, you're just a bit mental, because the kid is incredibly young. He will get better. He will develop. Just give him time. And speaking of Germany, again, I'm not going to mention the guy's name, but I have to say, Toni Kroos, I don't know where this fire has came from, but the last couple of weeks, he's just turned into the biggest diehard Newcastle United fan ever. He actually went off on our player who's just left to join Liverpool by saying that half of my listeners that watch our podcast don't even know who the player is. I don't know why he's doing this, but he's properly kicking into the player who's just left Newcastle, and Liverpool fans, as you can expect, fuming, kicking off on social media. And I have to say, Toni Kroos, get this guy a role at Newcastle, whether that be an ambassador, someone else is going to speak about the football club in his podcast. Just get this guy some official role at this football club. He is ridiculously good. He's one of the best ever midfielders, and he's a rare midfielder as well, of a player who's actually retired while at his peak. How many football players out there do you know who actually had the willpower to be able to just call it a day while being at their peak before they started to go downhill? He's a player who knew where his peak was. He's a player that was able to leave football before football left him. I don't care what role it is, ambassador, whatever it is, get this guy at Newcastle United, because his word, especially with the background he has at like Real Madrid, you've got German football, the experience he has, he can attract serious young players at this football club, and he's someone there, whether that be a director or whatever it is, just try and figure out a role where you can integrate him into, because I'm telling you now, Toni Kroos at Newcastle United would do serious work, and he's someone, especially with the pedigree he has, we would seriously take off an individual like him. I like his fight. I like the fire he's got behind him, and he doesn't have that BS about him. He just gets into everything, and even though Liverpool fans won't be happy with him, I just love what he brings to the table. Toni Kroos at Newcastle United, make it happen. I don't care what role. Get this guy at Newcastle United, because I just love the fight he has behind them. On the flip side, Johan Wissa is certainly having a better time out in the World Cup qualifiers. Currently, at the time when I'm recording this video, 3-0 up against South Sudan. Got himself an assist in a game where Wissa is dominating. Looking well, looking healthy, and a player who is eager to be playing for his national team, and of course, to be playing for Newcastle United next week. And I would probably currently say, if I had my choice now, you've either picked the inexperienced striker Nick Wout, or perhaps not the 100% match fit striker Johan Wissa. I still reckon he'll be fit enough to start up front for Newcastle, but maybe not 100%. I'm still banking it on Wissa, although, of course, I could understand Eddie Howe either putting both of them up front or just changing it around. With all due respect to Wolves, home game against Wolves, they should fancy the chances regardless. So whichever striker we go with, opportunities theirs to make, but someone would get the debut against Wolves, which would likely mean the other striker will then make the debut against Barcelona. So that's a massive ask as well. Which player do we do it to? Which one's going to get the opportunity against Barca? I'm intrigued because that is a huge opening Champions League game for a player to potentially make a debut. And finally, I wanted to show you the Instagram story of Joelinton's wife, because every day is the same as the caption, and then the video is just Joelinton watching back the cup final with his kids. Now, I have to say, looking at this, it puts a right smile on your face, because it's exactly the sort of player you do want in Newcastle. He's someone who cherishes the moments he has at his football club, and someone who has real pride and looks back at his time at Newcastle. And I think Joelinton's had the best, I guess, story might be the word to it. He joined Newcastle with a £40 million striker flop. He came into Newcastle, developed into a class midfielder, and someone who has brought success to this football club, and someone who I would like to hope will continue to bring success to this football club. And we can see now new players come through the door. Newcastle improving as a squad this summer. And I feel like where the club's going now, exactly the sort of player you want. I love Joelinton. He is one of my favourites. Him and Trippier, I have to say. Those two, and then Bruno in there as well. I think those three are my personal favourites. I can't ever say anything bad about those three, to be honest. They're my personal go-to players. But when I look at the story like this, I enjoy it a lot. And I feel like Joelinton just knows when to say and how to say the right thing. It's exactly the sort of player I want in Newcastle United. And I want to end the video off where, although there wasn't a lot of Newcastle United news directed towards the football club, it's more outside news today, but also a reminder that there are bigger things in life than football, and I want to make sure the message coming out in this video is strong, that you're all looking after yourselves, you're all taking care of yourselves, because everything goes in a flash. Life is short, time is short. You don't know what happens tomorrow, but you can change and you can make what happens today yours. Just go out there, enjoy it, and make sure you do the things that you do want to do in life, because you just don't know what's around the corner. And I feel like for Newcastle fans, especially being back to Champions League this season, just make sure, yes, everyone enjoys drinking, everyone enjoys like looking after themselves and enjoying themselves, but just go out there and make sure you be aware of your surroundings. I feel like, especially the Champions League games, and especially from all the Newcastle fans I've seen in my lifetime, the amount of people that I see that are drunk beyond drunk, where they can't even look after themselves. Like, just don't put yourself in that situation. Make sure you're aware of your surroundings, and just make sure you've got control of your own body, because otherwise, the last thing you want to see is, especially Marseille away, for example, like, that is the one game where you do not want to do something like that, because Marseille does not mess around. And especially for any of the older fans watching who were there in the early 2000s when Drogba scored, who were there even before that, people know Marseille is a rough place to go to. PSG was a little dodgy 2 years ago, but Marseille is like times 10. Marseille will not mess around. So make sure in the Champions League this season, while in Belgium, in Germany, you can enjoy yourselves, especially just keep your wits about you. The last thing I want to do is to go to any of these matches and say that someone's been hurt. I remember a couple of years ago, unfortunately, in Italy, someone had been attacked by a Milan gang, serious wounds inside his body. And again, I just don't want to see any Newcastle fans be hurt on these trips. So make sure to look after yourselves. Be aware of your surroundings. It sounds obvious of me saying it, but you'd be surprised how many people just get themselves in these situations. So please do look after yourselves. Just make sure you're all fine on these Champions League trips, and make sure you enjoy it as well. Go out there, take it all in, enjoy the moments, because our team's earned it, our football club's earned it, and you guys have earned it. For all your support through the years and decades of utter shite, you now deserve the opportunity to go out and enjoy the highs, enjoy the big moments for Newcastle. And my personal opinion, 2 years ago, that was the experience. This time's the real deal. Newcastle's here to compete this time. This is the Newcastle team that would give it everything they've got. They've got an easier, I would argue, an easier draw now, where you've got the league phase where you get, I think, 3-4 wins should qualify you for the knockout phase. Get in there and make it yours, Newcastle. They've got the capabilities, and in my opinion, should be qualifying for the knockout phase. So get out there, make it yours, enjoy it, take it all in, and be safe. That's the message from this video. Be safe. Appreciate you guys watching anyway. Take care. Amazing support from opposition fans. Amazing support from the footballing community. But let's keep pushing on. Let's keep going for it. Enjoy, guys. Take care. And we will see you all in the next one.